Welcome back to the Model Way Podcast, the show where we break down the business of beauty, fashion, and modeling so you can stop guessing and start winning. I'm your host, Lenny Wheeler, photographer, model manager, and your behind-the-scenes guide to building a career that lasts. Today is a solo episode, just you and me, and I'm pulling back the curtain on something I see too many aspiring models struggling with: how to stop wasting time and start making real moves in the industry. Whether you're 16, 26, or 46, if modeling is in your heart, this episode is just for you. Our show starts right now. Here's the truth. Nobody tells you looking great in photos is enough. This industry is 20% talent and 80% strategy. And the difference between the models who make it and the models who quit, it's not luck. It's having the right plan, the right connections, and the right mindset. So today, I'm going to give you the exact blueprint that makes agencies uses to take models from just starting out to runway ready, agency signed, and booked. Okay, so I really want to start out with the foundation, and I really want to give you guys something inspiring, because the first thing we have to talk about is your foundation. No career gets built without the basics, and in modeling, that means, one, you're going to have an amazing portfolio. A strong portfolio is going to be your golden ticket. If you don't have one yet, start small, but make it professional. Quality beats quantity every time. Okay, so number two, the digital presence agency and brands will look you up. That means your Instagram, your selfies, and your visual resume. Your digital presence agencies and brands will look you up. That means your Instagram isn't just for selfies, it's your visual resume. Okay, so what I mean by that, guys, is like having that visual resume that you're gonna have out there. Your pictures are gonna look clean, they're gonna look sharp, you're gonna get all the nasty stuff off there, the stuff that's usually personal. You know, if you wanna have a personal Instagram page, that's perfectly fine, but keep it separate kind of from your modeling. No, I'm going to take that back, because sometimes you may need to have a little bit of personality in there other than manage portfolio book. So I think that's going to be a massive win for you if you can show yourself in that light, but also maintain a skill set to where you're showing off your brand, because that's the biggest part about it, is building that brand. Number three, your measurements and stats. Be honest and keep them up to date. You know, nothing's gonna really kill a book faster than sending outdated info. This is exactly what I walk you through step by step in the Model Way Academy, because the truth is you can't skip these steps and expect to go far. If you've been wondering how to build this the right way, you'll want to hear what's coming up in this next segment, because it's gonna be absolutely amazing. Because that book is absolutely what's gonna be the golden ticket to what you're gonna actually build yourself up on, right? Because you have to start off somewhere, and I've always had these talks with this on this podcast and in the show, just having that personal brand. You're gonna wanna build that up so you can have the best looking portfolio that you've got. Now, it's not always gonna start off like where you're gonna be strong, and I've talked about this. You can always use your cell phone if you don't have a camera, if you don't have somebody that really is a photographer and you just need a little bit of practice, because, well, for one, it will give you the practice that you need. You're gonna be able to get and step in front of the camera and get in some light or some shade or the edge of the shade and take some phenomenal pictures. I just interviewed somebody this weekend and their husband took some pictures of them, and they were just absolutely fantastic, and it actually got her put with the agency and got her an invitation to the show. And so with that said, I mean, just start off small and kind of build into that. So when you build into that, it's just going to help you gain more confidence It's going to help you get more presence in front of the camera. You're going to get more emotionally intelligent. The other thing, like when I'm talking about portfolio building and building up your brand with the portfolio, a lot of that is practice. So like the practice comes with the cell phone. And even if you don't have a camera, you can use the mirror. The mirror is like your best friend. Like if you want to learn how to do poses and do that, like find some of your favorite Instagram models or somebody that you look up to or somebody that you want to aspire to be like, and then put yourself in the mirror. Put yourself in the mirror and kind of pull that thing together and make it worthy to where you would want to take a picture. Because once you get in front of the camera with another photographer, you're gonna really have the presence and the mindset to get in front of them and feel a lot more confident because you know what you're gonna look like at that angle. So you want to make sure that you're checking all these things out so you have the best features shown on you when you're building your book. So here's the thing, modeling, it's a business and you are the business. They look for you. So too many models leave their future in the hands of the chance or an agency and then wonder why nothing really happens. And I'm gonna kind of tell you guys a quick story. So basically, like you can't just leave it in the hands of the agency or your managers all the time, because they're just gonna try to help guide you in ways that they possibly can to their full maximum potential. But the thing is, when you're getting placed, there's things called contracts. There's things called pay that you're gonna get. You're gonna want to get your commissions, right? And so usually that works on an 80-20 format, okay? So like when the model gets paid, she's gonna get paid 80%. You're gonna get paid 80% of the deal. And typically here in the United States, it's 80-20. So that means that your agency or your manager, if it's a direct book, is gonna get the 20% off the pay. So if you make $1,000 on a shoot, you're gonna pocket $800 unless there's any other expenses that come along with that. Okay, so your agencies are gonna get 20%. Now they do a lot of work because they're gonna try to help get you placed. They're gonna be sending emails out. They're gonna be trying to organize your book. They're gonna be sending stuff out to bookers so you can go to the casting or just go to even a go-see. And what I found out over the years, a lot of models, they don't understand the fact that they think that your agency is supposed to do 80% of the work and get only paid 20%. So make that make sense. I mean, it just don't make sense, because typically if you're making more money, then you're the one that needs to be out there hustling a little bit more. You're the one that has to help find some people to help shoot, on top of them trying to find some when they can, because it's hard, right? And so with you getting that, your agencies are gonna actually be the ones that are gonna open the door for you, right? Now, a lot of agents don't get recognition for that, because what happens is a lot of times, a lot of the models will end up going out and they just forget about their agents. And this happens everywhere, guys. I've talked to so many managers and so many agents about how that happens right now. A lot of it has to do with fit. And if you're fit in with that agency, it's gonna be a really nice exchange for services, right? Because really they're just opening that door for you to get in the door so they can get work, because it's a business, guys. And the business is you. Like I said, you're gonna be the business of this industry, right? Like you're the main star on the industry, right? Now, when you start working on campaigns and start getting books and working for brands and things like that, they're the ones that are gonna be actually putting their product on you, because you're the clothes hanger, or you're the product holder, or you're the face holder for the makeup, right? And so you're the ones that's gonna have to really put the effort in to get the jobs. It's not their fault if you don't get the jobs. A lot of times, a lot of the agencies will be doing their jobs. They're sending out your packages and books, but if you're not getting work, 9 times out of 10, it's maybe because your portfolio needs adjusting. And then sometimes your agency is going to help you readjust that a little bit, because they're going to tell you what you need to do in order to get booked, because that's what the clients are looking for. I don't think a lot of people understand that, and I can't tell you how important that is, because if you're following what your agents are telling you, it's going to help you get into that light just a little bit more, and you're going to find yourself booking a lot more business. So knowing which agencies are the right fit and understanding the contracts before you even sign them, and then also learning how to negotiate rates. You want to build your relationships, and that's going to lead to repetitive bookings, right? Okay, so this is the stuff really nobody taught me when I started. I had to learn it the hard way, but you don't have to, right? And before you think, but Lenny, I don't have those connections. Trust me, you can start building them today. In fact, in this next segment, I'm gonna go ahead and give you 5 networking moves you can make this week, no matter where you live, right? You're gonna have to learn how to make those networks and get into the industry within yourself too, and kind of deal with certain aspects of the business. Like when I talk about contracts, understand the contract. Get a contract. It shouldn't be a 17-page contract. Typically, agency contracts are 2 or 3 pages. I've seen them down to 1. They don't have to be long and drawn out and confusion. It should be basic stuff that gets you to the point. It's going to tell you who your mother agency is. Your mother agency, if you get placed with the agency, they're going to sign a contract with that agency, because typically when they're spreading 20%, the agency is giving the mother agency or the manager the 10% of the 20. So it's not a double charge in most cases, right? Now, when you start going overseas and places like that, they're going to have a little bit different of a structure system. So I've seen 70-30, I've seen 60-40, I've even seen 50-50. And so that's the things that you're going to have to remember and kind of keep an eye on. A lot of people look at the things when it's called, if you are, what's it called? If you got a contract where you have to stay with that agent, and then you don't have to go, and you can have the choice of going to another agency, right? Or within the area that you're doing. So in the modeling world, there are several kind of contracts. You're going to be dealing with non-exclusive contracts, which means that you can do whatever you want, right? Like you can go anywhere, you can go sign with anybody, you can have multiple agencies if you're wanting to, right? And then you have what's called an exclusive, which means you're obligated to that person. Usually mother agencies will have exclusive contracts because they want to be able to help you get in different spots. So if you're trying to get everything yourself, your mother agency is not going to be able to get you placed in a lot of places if you're signed in certain markets, because they're trying to get an obligation somewhere else for you, but you've already got obligations at another agency, right? Now, so that's something you're gonna have to work out with your mother agent. And it's typical for me to see exclusive contracts, and it's also typical to see non-exclusive contracts. Then you have that. I try to categorize that with a mother agency contract, because the mother agency contract is gonna kind of fall into the exclusive category. Now, some mother agents don't mind if you have non-exclusive contracts as well, right? And then you have those one-time contracts, right? Those one-time only contracts where you're actually doing a specific job and we're contracting you for 2 months, and you have a couple, 2 or 3 shoots lined up. Those would be kind of like one-time contracts. They're not long-term, right? And so those are really good. I've seen contracts go anywhere from 1 year all the way up to 5 years. It depends on how they're moving in the agency. Really, you want to really kind of see it like this, because like I look at it like if you're a lot younger, they're going to put a longer contract on you because they got to put a lot more time in you. So if they got to put a lot more time into you, it makes it a little bit harder for them to go. So like what I'm saying is, like if you're signed with somebody and you've been with them for 4 years and or 3 years and nothing's happened, but in the last 3 months of that 3-year contract, you went off and you found something. You said, I'm done, but you got trained and developed for the first 3 years, and then you left that person that helped train you. That's what happens a lot in this business too, and you can leave. That's why a lot of people will put you on a longer term contract, right? A lot of people won't hold your feet to the fire to the contracts in most cases, just because it's just not worth it, because there's so many people out there, and if somebody wants to usually leave, they'll just leave, right? Unless you just got some other things that are going in. I'm gonna bring another agent on and talk through it more exclusively so you guys get a better practical understanding of contracts. It'll also be on our online courses that we're gonna talk about. So I'm gonna be having some segments in there talking about contracts and more in depth. So I really wanna give you clear practical steps on this stuff. So all right, let's get into what you can do right now to start seeing progress, right? So 5 networking moves for any model, okay? You need to attend at least one local fashion or beauty event this month, okay? I want you to reach out to 3 photographers whose work you admire and compliment their style. Follow 10 modeling agencies on Instagram and engage with their posts. DM 1 agency scout for portfolio link and professional short and confident. Keep it short and professional and confident. Okay, so I want you also to post one new high quality image of yourself weekly with a caption that tells your story. Small, consistent moves will open bigger doors than waiting for a big break, right? And if you're ready to really accelerate your results, you know where to find me. You can find me at host@modelwaypodcast.com, right? Okay, so if today's episode hit home for you, then the Model Way Academy is where you need to be. It's my complete online course that takes you from confused and frustrated to confident, agency ready, and in control of your career. We're talking real world strategies, insider tips, and the same systems I use for my signed models. You can join today at themodelwayacademy.com. We're going to be having our pre-sale here pretty soon with the Model Way Academy on modelway.com. Okay, and so if you go on there, you're going to be able to hit some discounts. I'm going to have some huge discounts coming up pretty soon where you can pre-sell it and then go from there. So we're super excited about having you guys. This is going to be amazing. This whole thing's been amazing. This is just a really quick show. I just wanted to kind of brief some things with you guys and talk through some of the things that I was really talking about right here. I want you to attend at least one local fashion or beauty event this month. Okay, so really, there's a lot of events that going on, especially if you're in a bigger market, like if you're in Dallas, if you're in New York City, if you're in Miami, LA, and some of the bigger metropolitans like Atlanta, Chicago. You know, there's a lot of good places that you can go to. Like you can go check some of the things online. You can Google it, like local fashion shows that are popping up. And you need to attend that stuff, right? There's some really good mixers and stuff out there. And a lot of times you're going to go to a fashion show, and a lot of times they'll have some meet and greet in the beginning. You can kind of talk to designers and let them see your face, so it gets you in front of people, right? Like that, right? So, but when you're out there, that you never know who's in these audiences, right? There's some really nice people that like to collaborate. There's some photographers out there. There's stylists. There's makeup artists, and they may see your face and be like, man, I really need to see her, and you get the contact information. And just on that alone, I've developed, 10 or 15 sometimes of contacts just by going to one event, because it's great networking, because it's a small industry. I mean, it's a really big industry, but it's kind of tight, especially if you're in the local areas that you're in. You're going to gain a lot of people that are going to come in there and actually see you, which is really, really cool. And so really, number 3, just reach out to like 3 photographers whose work you admire, and then send them a DM and tell them how much you admire their work, and then you would love to work with them. Those are massive, massive opportunities for you to get in the door with a photographer that you've been wanting to shoot, and a good photographer can really elevate your career. I shoot personally, like I've had models message me, and especially from other agencies that are trying to develop their book, and I've worked out deals with mother agencies, and I have one of my mother agencies out there that's really good about contacting me about shooting some of the people. I don't usually post it all the time what I'm doing, but it's really nice to have her come to me. I mean, she takes people like to Europe and stuff like that, and France and Paris. I actually use those. She uses those photos to get some of them placed, and a lot of those models have been placed because they've had some good pictures in their portfolio. And it just helps. Even the ones that just start out, you can get some really good photos from that. But if you're really passionate about building your book, building your brand, kind of growing in the industry, it's going to help you tremendously to be able to do that if you can just reach out to photographers. I want you to follow 10 modeling agencies on Instagram and then just engage with their posts. Don't just look at them and just hit the love button. They're going to look, but they're not going to look. Make a comment on one of them. Don't be so like, I'm afraid to make on them. Say, this is gorgeous. This is exactly what I would love to do. I can't wait to hopefully meet you guys one day. You can put stuff like that on their posts, and they're going to see that. And they're going to check when they do that, it flags them to look at your Instagram and kind of seeing what's going on. And it's going to keep them engaged. So you hit that follow button on them, and you never know. You might get lucky and they may follow you back because they really like you, or they're engaged with you because you engaged with them. That's going to help elevate your career a little bit, and just do that. But you really need to start working on that and trying to put that together so it pieces together and it resonates within you, and it becomes a habit, right? So that's the first thing, guys, I want you to do. I want you to remind you, just go to an event. I want you to go find 3 good photographers that you want to work with, and then go follow 10 amazing modeling agencies that are out there. Something else I wanted to tell you guys too, make sure you DM like one of the agency scouts, your portfolio, like just go ahead and email it to them. If you get their email and usually will put their email on there, go ahead and email it to them, because those scouts are actually looking, they get paid for that. Like they get paid to find a good looking model for their agency that they're working for. They'll get a percentage or something like that, or sometimes some of them may be on a salary. Keep it professional. You don't need to be sending them nudes or anything that's got less of your clothes on. Just send some simple digitals. And there's one of my classes online and the shows that I created about taking digitals. Okay, take some good digitals and put them on there. If you got a really nice portfolio, go ahead and send it to them, because I think that's going to be a huge thing for you, and it could get you a jump in the door. And really, the next thing I want you to do is post one new high quality image of yourself weekly. Just do it. Even if you're not used to posting, try to post one once a week. It has with a caption that's going to tell your story. A lot of good models are good at doing that, and they're good at like showing themselves off. They're proud of their work, and they want people to see them. Their agency, their mother agent, and then it just flags other people. And making sure that you have the title of who you're with up there in the top corner. Well, Lenny, I don't know if I really want to put that up there, because I like doing it by myself. You want to do it by yourself, but you want the help of everybody else? That don't make no sense. You're trying to get paid, and you want to get paid. Your mother agent's going to do a really good job at trying to find and filter out the ones that are going to actually work for you, instead of you getting desperate trying to get signed with everybody and their mama when it's not probably going to be a good fit for you. So be careful with that. Trust your agency, trust your network, and you're going to watch yourself fly with that. So making really small, consistent moves, it's going to open your bigger doors, than just sitting there waiting for a break. If you're just sitting around waiting, it's not going to help, guys. You're going to have a harder time getting in that door if you're just not being proactive. You have to be proactive in this business and do things that's going to get you the edge on top of the rest of the world. There's a million models out there trying to do exactly what you're doing. There's going to probably be 100 girls that look just like you, 100 dudes that look just like you. Set yourself apart. Do these small things like that and watch yourself fly, guys. I can't wait to see what you're going to do, because that's going to be something that's just going to be big. And there's a few of you watching right now that you're on the edge and you're waiting for that big break, but just do some of these small things like this, guys, and it's going to help elevate your career. Guys, you really know where to find me. You can find me at modelwaypodcast.com. Email host@modelwaypodcast.com. If today's episode hit home for you, then the Model Way Academy is where you need to be. It's my complete online course that takes you from confused and frustrated to confident, agency ready, and in control of your career. We're talking insider strategies and all these systems that I've used for my models in the past, right? I want you to be able to go click that link. We're pretty soon here, go look at what we've got out there, because pretty soon we're going to be having a discounted sale that's going to go out. I'm going to do a pre-orders on there. It's only going to cost $99, and the original price is actually going to be $4.99. So I'm looking for that, guys. And I can't wait to see you on that other side. All right, my friend, remember this. You have everything you need to get started. The only thing standing between you and your next big break is action. If you loved today's episode, share it with another aspiring model and tag me on Instagram at the Model Way Podcast so I can cheer you on. And until next time, keep showing up, keep shining, and always do it the model way. My name is Lenny Wheeler, and this has been the Model Way Podcast. And until next time, you guys already know, hasta la vista.